Well, hello friends, and welcome to another episode of Fat Cats Exposed on this Friday afternoon. I've got my Friday afternoon cocktail with lots of ice and lemonade. I'm sure you're looking forward to the weekend. Of course, we're hoping that it's going to be a good one. It is a little bit, drizzly today, but I think it's supposed to be nice for the weekend. So anyway, today we're going to talk about the fattest cat of all of the fat cats. And that's the president and CEO of the WSIB, Jeff Lang. I'm going to put him up here so you can put a face to a name. He's been the CEO of the WSIB for the last couple of years, so not a whole lot to go on. He really hasn't had a lot of time to make a huge mark, although there is one situation that I want to talk about that doesn't bode well for Jeff Lang. And I think it's a big point of contention for a lot of people. Although I don't think it was of his own doing. I think it was his predecessors. But anyway, talking about the biggest and the fattest cat, and of course you know what I mean when I'm talking about the fat cats. And they're the ones that, they take all of the nice offices upstairs, and they're the ones that kind of they scheme. They scheme to try and pay out zero claims and keep more money in the coffers. And so anyway, Jeff Lang, he manages the WSIB over $34 billion in assets. I'd say that's a lot of cash. And over $3 billion in annual benefit and health benefits delivered by a team of 4,000 employees. I don't know where this $3 billion is going, because all I hear about is claims being denied, and you're probably watching this going, where the fuck is all that money going? I mean, I'm not getting it. I'm involved in an appeal. I don't see the sunlight anywhere in the horizon. And they're spending $3 billion. What the fuck is that? Well, I can tell you, if I broke it all down, they got healthcare providers, some of the ones that they prefer. So, a big chunk goes there, and money back to employers. I'm going to talk about that one. That's the dark spot on Jeff Lang's, tenure. But he still has time to turn things around. We'll see. We'll give him a chance, but maybe we'll give him another year. And I think that's generous. So, they're committed to improving outcomes for people suffering from workplace injuries. I don't see any of that shit happening. They have expanded online service, available 24/7. Oh, that's fine. I mean, it'd be nice to go online and say, hey, I'm getting a fucking check tomorrow. That's good. But to go online and find other shit that doesn't really mean anything, it's pretty much useless. So, on the employer side, they're holding premiums at a 20-year low. Yeah, and if that wasn't enough, because you know what? After all, this system was supposed to be funded by employers. That was the deal that was made many, many, many years ago, and some of these fuckers have forgotten about that deal. But the deal was that it's a fund that is exclusively funded by employers for the benefit of injured workers, okay? But it doesn't seem like a whole lot is happening in terms of the benefit for injured workers, but everybody else seems to be fucking happy, including the fat cats that are earning, I would call, puke worthy or gag worthy incomes. And I'm going to get to that one in a minute. But let's talk about this really dark cloud that I think is going to loom over Jeff Lang for a while. And if he gives a shit, he's going to try and change things, and we'll see. But part of his tenure was to deliver the first ever surplus. Okay, for decades, the WSIB talked about an unfunded liability. They managed to eliminate that in record time, more time than the province actually wanted them to do that. And that's when David Marshall, of course, was at the helm, and he just pretty much fucked everybody over. And I'm talking about injured workers that got their claims denied, and then they had to fight for them, and benefits that normally would be applicable in a particular case, and those benefits were denied, and all kinds of shit. But anyway, so they managed to shorten that period of time, and then they got themselves a nice surplus, and they took, the first ever surplus that they sent back to employers to the tune of $1.2 billion. So, just so that you know, in the original deal, there wasn't supposed to be any money going back to employers. The money was supposed to be flowing the other way. Employers pay into the system so that if there's claims, the WSIB has money to pay those claims. It wasn't supposed to be a two-way street or like one of those, two-door, open door, closed door kind of thing. You know what I mean? Where they go in one way, so the money goes into the WSIB. It's supposed to stay there to pay claims, but no, claims get denied. They raise all of this cash, and they get into a surplus, and then they give it back to employers. Is it fair? Is it stupid? It's totally fucking retarded as far as I'm concerned. It was never meant to be that way, but it is. And so injured workers right now are struggling because of this bullshit that these people seem to be pulling all the time. So, yeah, how do you like me now, Jeff? I'm only getting started. I'm only getting started because this bullshit is shameless. So anyway, so Jeff managed to deliver the first ever surplus rebate worth over $1.2 billion back to employers. I just want that to sink in. Yeah. But you know what? That's not it. Or that's not all. There's actually more. See, Jeff Lang started in that position in 2023. Actually, 2022. And he started at a salary of $409,512 a year. That's $409,512 for one person for the year. For an organization that is failing to live up to its mandate to pay injured and ill workers when they need it. Okay? Now, here's the kicker. 1 year later, in 2023, Jeff's salary goes up, and can I get a drum roll? Yeah, $451,888. That's a 10% increase from the previous year. How many of you can say you got a fucking 10% increase in your salary from 1 year to the next? That's $53,000, by the way, in 1 year. And most people don't earn that kind of money. But hey, they're the fat cats for a reason, right? They control the purse strings. They get to decide whatever the fuck they want with that money. And everybody else just got to take it quietly. But here's the kicker. And I've exposed some of them already, and there's more to come. But I'm going to give you a number that's just going to totally blow your mind. So the top 10 fat cats at the WSIB, okay? There's a lot of fat cats. There's probably about 30 of them. But the top 10, collectively, in 1 year, okay? Here's what they earned from the WSIB. 10 people, 1 year, drum roll. Yeah. You got it. 3,470,767. 10 fucking people. 1 year. That's what they earn. I don't know. I guess it's pretty costly these days to screw people over. I think so. Yeah, so they love to celebrate. They do. They love to celebrate. They're very good at it. Oh, fuck. I'm not done yet. Now, is it too much? Of course it's too much. They shouldn't get 1/10 of that. Actually, 1/3 of that would be too much. for 10 people. So anyway, but you know what? If they were paying out claims, they weren't screwing over injured workers, they were doing what they're supposed to do, do you think anybody would give a shit how much money they're making? Would you care?
I don't give a shit how much they're earning. I don't give a shit.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Would you care? That's what I thought. Nobody would give a shit. But this week in the news, Jeff Lang gave an interview with the Toronto Star, May the 15th. One of my subscribers alerted me to that interview, and thank you for that. I appreciate it, Rick. And they were talking about this dilemma of the workers who come from other countries to work in agriculture, and there's always been a relationship between Canada and these workers. They're referred to as migrant workers, and the WSIB tried to screw them as well. In fact, they did. Then the tribunal gave them a little spank with their big bat and said, no, back the fuck up here. You can't do that. But yeah, they did, and what they did was it's that kind of sneaky shit that just, when you see people who act like that, you try to disassociate yourself from them. You don't want to be anywhere close to them because they just stink. The fucking stink it's all over the place, right? These workers, they come here, they work hard, and they work really, really hard. And if they had an injury, the WSIB basically said, well, if you can't go back to your injury, you can go back to your country. And if you can't earn as much as you would here in 3 months, you're shit out of luck. And whether you're left with permanent restrictions and permanent impairment, or whether you can come back and work again at all, that's your own shit. You got to deal with it. Tough luck, right? That was really what, like in a few words, that's what they were doing, to fuck over these migrant workers, right? So eventually this shit came to a head, and I think it started at the tribunal. Jeff Lang in his interview says, oh, no, we were already going in that direction, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe it, not for a fucking second. The tribunal, they looked at a number of these and they said, no, that's not going to happen. They made some decisions that caused the WSIB to reverse their position on the matter. And now they're obviously having to create policy and to make sure that these workers are treated in the same manner as, the workers in Canada, because at the end of the day, we're all people, right? We're all brothers and sisters, and you should be treated differently. So that's the bottom line. But Jeffrey Lang in his interview says, these are some of the most vulnerable people, Lang said in an email. They came to work in Ontario, they got hurt, they got sent back to their home countries, and they got dinged for not being from Ontario. Of course, that's right. And it's a good thing you're acknowledging that. And then he goes on to say, which we hope that we can hold him accountable, if you're injured while working in Ontario, you're going to be treated equally, you're going to be treated with dignity, and you're going to be treated with respect. Well, Jeff Lang, equally, dignity, and respect. You know what? We're going to hold you to those words. Believe me, I'm going to hold you to those words, because I'm going to be watching very closely. And if you really mean it, put your money where your mouth is. Start paying workers in Ontario. Start treating the Ontario workers who actually live and pay their bills in Ontario. Why don't you start treating them with dignity and respect? These are the ones that are, that are working hard. Pay their fucking claims, okay? Rather than put up barriers and deny and cause them to go through all kinds of hoops and having your unqualified people overrule opinions of qualified doctors who were actually registered with the College of Physicians and Surgeons, who actually went to doctor schools, university, and then more years and more years. You know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Don't take the word of some idiot that you just hired off the fucking street and doesn't have any qualifications over the doctors. Because if you start respecting the doctors that are treating the workers in Ontario, you won't have any reason to deny their claims. So stop scheming. Stop all of your scheming bullshit, right? Stop scheming and start paying fucking claims. Jeff, put this on your priority fucking list, because I'm going to be watching and I'm going to bring your name up and all of the shit that you do from the top that flows down, all of it, regularly, very regularly, so people know what the fuck is going on. And I couldn't put it any better than that, my friend. So we're going to end here. I really don't know what's going to happen next week and what I'm going to talk about. I think I'm going to be as surprised as you are. But whatever it is, it's going to be an interesting. So, well, thank you for watching today's video, and tune back in to Fat Cats Exposed episode 6 coming up next Wednesday. And as always, have an amazing long weekend. Let the cocktails flow. Till the next time.